Kia ora, January 1st sets are officially out. These actually released earlier in late December 2023 at the LEGO stores here. Today I'm taking a look at the highly anticipated set 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack, which released at $55 NZD. That's nowadays $20 more than the standard price of Battle Packs, but $35 more than the ideal price that we wish we could all go back to for Battle Packs. But that price is a really strong piece of contention here though, because it's actually cheaper than buying two individual Battle Packs at the same time, and this does feature more than the standard number of figures that would be included into Battle Packs. Sort of, we'll get into it. The set overview here are some small builds for both sides, a speeder and a cannon for our Republic troopers, and a stab speeder and a tri-droid for our Separatists. From afar, I think this looks very enticing, and I have to say right off the bat, I'm very satisfied with this overall product, and even at a full price, I can see some good value in here. We'll start with the builds. The builds are always interesting and at the same time some of the weakest elements of some battle packs. It's pretty hard to completely mess up a speeder build, but it is easy to make a lackluster one. Unfortunately, this is the latter. It's serviceable, but there's nothing really here to excite me about building this one compared to some previous releases. The speeder has a strange color design here using these standard reds and gunmetal greys, but there's also a slight bit of tan coloring here at the back there, some blues for those studs and different shades of greys along with some black. It's a lot and it's all kind of jumbled together in a weird sort of way. A lengthy nozzle with some piston parts for the tips there, those neat triangle pieces added for some extra depth there, two seating spaces and a handle for steering, and the back seat features two slots for blasters that can be removed for usage. Like I said, it is a standard speeder overall. The turret is the most disappointing element here for me for the Republic side of things. There's been a few different kinds of turret builds over the years, so we're used to some really good stuff here. This one features those shield pieces, which is nice to see, and a stud shooter as the main feature. I don't like builds like this because there's no ground by the weapon here for a trooper. This means I'll have to have him on my display surface, which I'm not a fan of. I'd like him to actually be on the LEGO bricks. He can sort of stand off to the side here, but it's not the most ideal way to do this. The final piece here is a crate, which is said to be part of the droids. I'm just going to show it off here anyway. It's a simple crate. Inside there is a thermal detonator that can be used for either side. Whoever gets the crate first, really. Stab speeder time. This I actually love. The stab speeder has always been a favorite of mine ever since getting that LEGO ATT from the Clone Wars movie as a kid for Christmas. The design is pretty standard to those other ones. There's no sticker details here though, which is a key difference to previous ones that I've built. I've always loved that silhouette that the stab speeder makes here. The color scheme of course is also excellent, and our droid is attached here at the handles, the same as usual, bends nicely and it allows for some nice posing. The tri-droid is my first ever one that I get to build, and I know that there was a very similar one released like this some years ago in another battle pack. It was under a different color scheme though. This one kind of resembles the one from the Clone Wars movie, but the size is obviously a lot different. It's got some long legs like a spider that features bends in 3 different areas for different display types. The tri-droid's legs can spin all the way around, or it's the head that can spin all the way around, you decide. Stud shooters are stationary on the legs, they can be fired out quite nicely. The inside of the dome piece features a pink stud, which I think acts as like the brain of the droid. It's a very loose connection for the dome head here. It's not much, but I like that design. A bigger build featuring some key details would be nice, but this is serviceable for what we want from the battle pack. It's the figures really. It complements that stab speeder quite nicely. The figures here are a really great selection covering all bases for us fans. Now depending on how you at home view the droid figures, technically we've got 9 minifigures here to go over. Some repeats and some much needed reissues. We start with the most unique figure here, which is the Shock Trooper. He was released earlier in 2023 with the Republic gunship. I struggle to see any differences here made, not complaining though because I do really like those figures a lot. He's got a small blaster here and a pair of binoculars for his accessories. Underneath that helmet he's got the standard clone face, which is the exact same face used for the regular clones in the set as I show now. Hey, great transition into my most anticipated figure from this pack, the regular Phase 2 clone troopers, who have not been seen in a set since I think 2014, and it also looks like that was the only way to actually just get one single plain trooper, and of all sets to put him in, it was a microfighter, which is insane to me. I hope I have that wrong there, but over the past 5 or so years we've had some really incredible sets that feature Phase 2 clone troopers, but we've had no regular standard clones in sight. Today now we have a set with not just 1 but 3 of these guys, so I couldn't be happier. They're very easy to acquire now. I like the figure a lot. It uses that body of the regular Phase 1 clone troopers, but the helmet now just doesn't have any special markings. No purples, orange, blue coloring, whatever, just a perfect plain old figure, and you get 3 of them. The battle droid in the set is also standard. You get 2 of them featuring 2 different choices for arms though. The first one has some straight arms and the second droid has the sideways arms because that's the only way that you're going to get him in the stab speeder. As expected, you do have some spare arms that you could always swap over, or you could give one of the bendy arms to the straight arm one and the straight arm to the bendy one. You can kind of make up your own mind on that one. The special sideways armed guy here has his gun attached to his back on a holster, so that way he doesn't have to worry about it while he's driving that speeder. And excitingly, here is the Super Battle Droid returning to us again in almost more than a decade, and fully revamped apparently. The molds here are more cared for, with a full redesign for that body molding. 3 Super Battle Droids are included here, which is also a great generous number, all featuring the exact same details because they are the exact same figure as one another. The head is skinnier, there's a little indent for where the red light should be on the torso, but there's no printing inside it. Rumor had it that LEGO stopped producing these guys because they were prone to breaking in the joints. I never personally experienced this myself, but these ones don't feel too different from memory. I'm really glad to see them back after all this time though. And here's a quick look at how different they will look if you decide to flip the arms upside down and attach them that way. You can see that there's a small little mold of a turret of sorts near the wrist area that should be the wrist launcher, so it should be located by the hand, so make sure you don't connect them this way. The box art here has that Clone Wars strip that we love to see, and we can see everything that we just covered here in the review. Nice shot of the shock trooper up top as we take a closer look at the art there, and look at those nice beautiful figures at the bottom there. The side features the Droid here at the bottom, and the back covers all the features that I went over in the video, and a nice little display of the set all together, complete with roleplay of the Republic winning at the end of the day, because of course they do. Instructions for the set are really interesting, split into 2 different booklets so that 2 people can build this at the same time. One covers the Droid and the other covers everything else. Our first booklet here just features all of the set built up, nothing too exciting. The Droid booklet has some advertisements at the back of the new Jedi Adventure set that I do really want to cover, but I need to wait for a really deep sale because that's 80 NZD here, and the battle pack that we just took a look at. So overall, I like this set a lot. 55 NZD is a lot for any set that's kind of small scaled like this, but ultimately LEGO would release the Droid as its own battle pack if they could, and that would come with all those droids, and I think they'd probably release the 2 speeders and the turret as its own battle pack as well with those clones. So really, what we have here is 2 battle packs here for $15 less than what it should cost to get both of them separately. That's almost half the price of a regular battle pack today. On top of that, you actually get more than the standard minifigure selection if you were to get 2 battle packs. Hell, I couldn't tell you the last time that LEGO released a Star Wars set with 9 minifigures in it for less than 150 NZD. From that perspective, I think that this has some really great value here, and it's probably one of the better battle packs we've had in the past couple of years. If you enjoyed this look at a LEGO Star Wars 2024 set, liking and subscribing does help to support this channel in making more videos like this. Ka kite anō.